Hello and welcome to the WrestleMania predictions here on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. This is Ralph Valenti. And we got 16 matches now for WrestleMania 35, including the big main event between Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair. Winner takes all. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, and many more. We're going to get to all that. Before we do, make sure you hit subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications as we're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. And Ralph, we'll start with the Tag Team Championship matches. Now, the first one is the one that was announced on Tuesday for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We have the Fatal 4-Way. It is the Usos, Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar, which is Cesaro and Sheamus, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. So basically three teams that are just put together randomly and an actual tag team in the Usos. So
The Bar's a legitimate tag team.
they are now, but they originally were
they
two
were
guys
just
thrown together and see if it sticks. I actually like the Usos retaining here, especially now that they just re-signed for a 5-year deal this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ricochet and Aleister Black win. As I said in our NXT predictions, I do think they're going to be somehow winning multiple belts this whole weekend, whether it's the Raw after from the Revival, whether it's at WrestleMania with this Fatal 4-Way. I don't know, but my safe bet here is to stick with the Usos retaining.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Usos retain. The strangest thing of this entire match is the fact that Ricochet and Aleister Black are just kind of thrown in the mix here. I think, one of the things that I think people could see is there was a legitimate somewhat of a build to the feud between them and the Revival. And I think if they were expected to have a WrestleMania match, one would assume it would have been against the Revival. But for whatever reason, they've got thrown into this match, which I'm not complaining. I think that they'll be fine. But I think that had they faced the Revival, they would have had a better chance to showcase what they're really made of, especially on a stage like this with WrestleMania. They could gain a lot more fans, get a little more exposure to the WWE Universe. But at the end of the day, I think the Usos retain.
All right, let's move now to the recently announced Raw Tag Team Championship match, which I think out of all the YouTube channels and all the podcasts that already made their predictions, they did not make a prediction for this match because it was just announced this afternoon.
Yeah.
So I think we're the first podcast to actually make a prediction on this match. And it's the Revival versus the Major Bros, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Absolutely no build to this. The only build that we got to it is a segment on YouTube after Raw Monday. But we know that Kurt Hawkins and the story of him losing so many matches, 267, is it now?
It's up there. Now, does Vince McMahon give the ultimate middle finger to the tag team that's been the thorn in his side because they feel underappreciated, and not only end Kurt Hawkins' streak, but have the Revival lose the titles at WrestleMania to them?
Here's the thing, there's so many possible feel-good moments here at WrestleMania we got to get to a point where they have to piss the fans off somehow. Yeah. And this might be one that you could get away with and fans wouldn't care too much about.
Yeah, it'll get lost in the shuffle of everything.
But I think they saved Kurt Hawkins' first win for WrestleMania.
So you're going with the Major Bros.
I'm going with the Major Bros.
I can't bet against the Revival. I do agree that I think eventually Ricochet and Aleister Black will be the ones to hold the titles, and maybe the next night on Raw they end up winning the titles in front of a hot crowd. But I can't see the Revival losing at WrestleMania to them.
All right, so if the Revival retain, do they go past the Raw after WrestleMania with the tag team titles?
No, so if they retain, I think that they lose the next night on Raw on Monday night on Raw to Aleister Black and Ricochet. That's what I would think.
Okay. All right.
The Raw after WrestleMania is typically a hot crowd. People are into it, and I don't see Ricochet and Aleister Black winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I don't see them winning the NXT Tag Team Championships, only because I think they're going to get called up to the main card permanently after TakeOver. So it would make most sense to me to see them win the Raw titles.
What if Ricochet and Aleister Black win all the titles and unify all of them?
I don't see it happening.
Kind of like what they're doing with the women's titles, tag team titles at least.
I don't see it happening.
Well, speaking of the women tag team titles, that's our next match that we're going to predict. It is the women tag team champions, Bayley and Sasha Banks, the Boston Hug Connection, going up against the Divas of Doom, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, and Nia Jax and Tamina, who don't have a team name. They're just Nia Jax and Tamina. And this is for the women's tag team championship. I can see this match opening WrestleMania this year, at least the main card. But I mean, I think this one is pretty clear cut that Sasha and Bayley are retaining.
I don't think so. I think WrestleMania is going to have an iconic moment, and I think the Iconics are going to win the championship.
Really?
The Boston Hug Connection, other than the friendship between the two, they haven't done much of anything to spark any interest in this new tag team division.
Right.
Why not give it to two heels who have at least have some type of personality as a team?
Right.
Sasha's great by herself. Bayley is great by herself. As a team, okay, they're great in the ring, but really to get over, you need personality. You need to keep people captivated. You need to bring eyeballs to the screen. And I'm not saying the Iconics are an all-time great tag team, but they have personality. They could bring something special to the table that we haven't seen from Bayley and Sasha. So I think the Iconics win this.
Well, I think they want to save that moment for the four horsewomen to be in the ring to close WrestleMania, all of them having some kind of belt. But we'll talk further into how this show is going to end towards the end of the show. I mean, they just got these belts, and I think they really want Bayley and Sasha to have a good run with them before they drop them. I don't see them dropping at WrestleMania just yet. So next match that we're going to do, we're going to stick on Raw here and go with Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in the first non-main event match for Roman Reigns in 5 years. In fact, the last time Roman Reigns was in MetLife Stadium, he was part of the opening match. It was The Shield versus Sheamus, Big Show, and Randy Orton. So now we get to one-on-one match against Drew McIntyre. Not as high profile as you probably would think it would be, but this one could be a decent match, I think.
Yeah. Given the circumstances, him coming back from his illness, I think that it's right where I would expect it to be. I wouldn't expect him to be, catapulted right into the main event just yet.
Right. Here's the thing with this match, though. Whoever wins this match will not be the Money in the Bank winner come the next month. Because I think both of them will be in the Money in the Bank match in May.
Okay.
So if Roman loses here, you can have him get the Money in the Bank briefcase and eventually get the championship of his choosing, which will be the Universal Championship, set up maybe Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar, either one, are both suitable opponents for Roman Reigns with the briefcase. But if Roman Reigns wins, then you can have Drew McIntyre be the Money in the Bank briefcase winner. Roman Reigns can win the Universal title off of Brock Lesnar in a match at Saudi Arabia or before then, and then McIntyre wins it off Roman. You could do a bunch of things with that. Personally, this WrestleMania I think is going to have a lot of good feel-good moments and a lot of baby faces winning. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as clear-cut as people think it is.
Well, I think Drew McIntyre's in a tough spot because he knows he's positioned against the guy that's coming back from his illness. I don't think many people expect Drew McIntyre to win, especially given it's Roman Reigns' return match on such a high level. I'm gonna agree. I think Roman Reigns wins at the end of the day. I can't see them putting Drew McIntyre over.
All right. Next match that we are going to go over now, as I'm going through I'm like going through the live chat and going through my list here, so I apologize if I'm stalling a little bit. But it's Bobby Lashley versus the Demon Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. I think the match is going to be longer then saying Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. This is going to be a quick one. The Demon's coming out, similar to what we saw at SummerSlam against Baron Corbin. Demon wins.
Yeah. The entrances combined will be longer than the match itself. I agree. Give people what they want to see. Give people the Demon, which we know we're going to get that. I say this is probably less than 5 minutes.
Probably. Let us know what you guys think. The over-under of this match. Well, I'm going to say 3 minutes. Over-under 3 minutes.
From bell to bell?
Bell to bell. 3 minutes. So that would be shorter than Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, which went 4 minutes and 32 seconds. So let us know in the Super Chat if you're watching this after we are live. Let us know in the comments how long Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley goes. Over under 3 minutes. So both going with Finn Balor?
I'm going Finn Balor,
all right,
for sure.
Now let's move over to SmackDown, a match that right now is still going on, but might get scrapped, might have a replacement. So we're going to predict it as if it's happening with no replacement, and that is Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. On Monday, in whatever reason, Rey Mysterio faced Baron Corbin on Raw this week.
Yep.
Injured his ankle during the match, and now he's questionable for his match against Samoa Joe for WrestleMania. If he does not go, do they scrap it?
No.
Do they replace him? And if so, who do you replace him with?
Mustafa Ali.
Not Kevin Owens?
Well, there's a couple names come to mind. First one would be Mustafa Ali, only because they were so high on him initially. Before he got injured, there was all the rumors going around that Kofi Mania was actually supposed to be Mustafa Ali's push.
Right.
So there was that rumor. Kevin Owens, you could certainly put him in that position. Andrade, if they choose to take him out of the Battle Royal, he could be somebody that I see them put in that type of position. Those would be my three off the top of my head.
With Andrade, though, you got heel versus heel. I don't think they want to do that.
Well, I mean, they'd rather have a good match.
You could still have a good match with Kevin Owens and or Mustafa Ali.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So
my first choice would be Ali.
All right, so assuming that this match stays as is and Rey Mysterio is healthy to compete, who wins?
I would say Samoa Joe.
I'm going with Samoa Joe as well. We got to have a heel win something in this card, and so far I think at least for me, all the baby faces are winning. I think the only one so far that you have...
Mandy Rose.
You have Mandy Rose.
I have the Iconics.
And the Iconics. So you have a couple heels right now. This one here, I think, is a 50-50 toss-up because it's really how WWE perceives each individual currently. And it's AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
The indie darling versus the WWE guy that was created from the ground up through OVW. Became a machine in WWE since he's gotten here.
Yep.
Youngest champion ever. This one's tough, I think.
It's very tough. I mean, this has certainly been one of those feuds that they've thrown together in the last month that I think has really done well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a match that I'm actually looking forward to. I hope they give them enough time because I think from what we've seen from them, I think the fans will really get invested in this match. And I think they'll be able to deliver in the ring.
I think this is going to be the most surprising match on the card. I think a lot of people are overlooking this one considering the other matches that are on this card. And I'm even going to go say this is going to be the best match of the night.
Oof. That's a bold claim. If you look at some of the smaller guys, like Christian, for example, the guys that can kind of complement Randy Orton's kind of methodical type of approach to a match.
Right.
So not that Christian is at the same level as AJ Styles. Christian is a great wrestler. He not necessarily as high flying, but he has a little bit of an acrobatic background in some of his offense.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton and Christian had great chemistry together. I think that's the type of match you can get from them. So I don't know if I'd go as far as to say this is going to be the best match of the night, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not top 2 or top 3 of the night, if they give it time.
Here's the thing. AJ Styles in WWE, we have said over and over again that his matches have not been to the caliber that people
expect.
Yep. Except when he faces Brock Lesnar. except when he faces John Cena, except when he faces Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan might not be as much, but John Cena and Brock Lesnar are WWE guys. They understand the WWE style. They have WWE type matches, and they have the psychology and everything. It all works when AJ Styles was in the ring with them, and he had some of his best matches in WWE with them. The ones that fall short are the ones that people expect to have these great matches because he's had great matches with them outside of WWE, the indie darlings, the Shinsuke's, the Samoa Joes. It goes on. And I think Randy Orton, who understands the WWE style because that's all he knows, he's gonna bring the best out of AJ Styles in this match.
I think at the end of the day, because they have such polarizing styles at the end of the day, I think that's what's going to make the match good, because you have, Randy Orton, who essentially, I guess you would consider him a brawler, more of a grappler type wrestler, and AJ Styles, who's more of the aerial guy. So it'll make for an interesting match. I think Orton's going to win, because the reason I say that is Vince will tend to side with his guys over the guys that come in from outside of the company. That was certainly the case with Sting.
Yep.
There's other examples.
Booker T.
Yep, Booker T with Triple H.
Both of them actually with Triple H.
Yeah.
So is it more Triple H or is it more Vince McMahon?
I don't know who it is, but I think Orton needs the win more than AJ does. I don't think if AJ loses, I think inevitably we'll get a rematch down the line, and AJ will come out on top in this feud. But I think Orton wins at WrestleMania. I
think the fact that their segment ended on SmackDown this week with the Phenomenal Forearm getting reversed into the RKO makes me believe AJ is going to get the win here.
Now, here's what's interesting. You would think they'd save that for the match. So how do they top that at WrestleMania?
I don't know, because
you have to top it now, especially if Orton's going to go over. That will come up in the match one way or another, but if he's gonna win by RKO, they're gonna have to figure another way to work that in.
If he does the 450 splash, because I know he does that and then goes into the RKO,
it's possible, but that's gonna be difficult.
Or
my favorite one ever was probably the curb stomp.
That one is the best.
That's the type of moment that I think that we can expect at the end of this match.
See, they already sold it once already on SmackDown. I don't know. Now you put it in my head now. How are they going to top that? That was so good. But I think that's why, AJ's going to win, because how else can you top that?
So you got AJ.
I'm going AJ.
I have another heel. I have Orton.
All right. So you're at 3 heels. I'm at 1 heel.
Who does the crowd cheer for? Or do we get a split?
No, AJ. AJ.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a dueling chant.
No, AJ.
Let's see what they think. What are people saying down there?
Let's see. Anybody on the live chat? If it's a 50-50 split, is it pro AJ? Is it pro Randy? Let's see. Let's go to the chat really quick. Manyalo Webster. AJ wins. WWE wants to invite the independent wrestlers to come to WWE just to prove that an outsider can be a winner in the WWE machine. Fair point. But we saw that with
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. We saw that with AJ Styles.
Finn Balor to a certain extent.
Yeah, but
never really got the opportunity because he's
true. Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Faraz Ghaffari. I see AJ Styles winning against Orton, and that is because how they booked the last segment on SmackDown. This match will steal the show. He's saying 4.5 at least.
4.5 stars.
4.5 stars. Is that out of 10 or out of 5? And he also
Meltzer scale 5.
Yep. Anthony Manzano says AJ. Faraz Ghaffari 50-50 on the chance. I don't know. I would say 70-30 AJ. But,
okay. So you got AJ, I got Orton.
Yep.
You got Okada, I got Jay White. Good.
Yep. Okay. All right. Let's move on to The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Mm-hmm. We know what that means. Shane's going to do something.
Shane's going to do something. What's he going to jump off of?
Yep.
There's no cage. The stage is too low for him to do some kind of scaffolding.
It'll be some type of...
Does he jump off the canopy?
I don't know.
That's deadly. I don't think that happens, but...
Who do you got?
The Miz.
You do.
The Miz.
I have
have
another heel. I have Shane winning with the help of Sanity.
No, that was just thrown in there.
No,
Sanity's
it's been 2 weeks in a row now.
No, Sanity's not going to be put into the storyline. Okay. No. The Miz is about to have a huge push in 2019, and it's going to culminate with him eventually as WWE Championship champion. I've said that since last August that he was. You
also said that him and Daniel Bryan were going to main event this WrestleMania. So
well, yes, plans change, but it seemed like that was the tale they were telling back in SummerSlam when I said this, and it seemed like that's what they were doing even back in before. Basically, until Daniel Bryan randomly won the WWE Championship, it looked like that's where they were going.
I think this match is actually going to open the night.
I could see that. I could see that. Shane McMahon has opened before against AJ Styles. And, of course, because he's so winded, Shane McMahon is going to need plenty of time to catch his breath after the match. So,
speaking of winded, is that the next one?
That is the next one. The quote-unquote farewell match. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin.
Yep.
I think people are now getting to the point where this is a work. This is not Kurt Angle's last match. And I'm sorry. It is.
Yeah.
It's his last match.
Yeah. It has to be. It should be. I mean, if you're one of the younger fans who just started watching WWE, you have to go back and watch Kurt Angle in his prime.
Yes.
Whether that's some of his matches that he had in WWE against anybody, really. Shawn Michaels is probably his best match. Or some of the matches he had in TNA against the likes of AJ Styles. That was probably some of his better matches. That was him in his prime.
He had a great match with Christian once. It was a TV taping.
Yeah.
It was so good, except the commentary was so bad.
Was this on TNA?
It was on TNA.
Was it Don West?
I think Don West. I think it was Mike Tenay and Don West.
I'm not surprised.
So,
I mean, Kurt Angle, he's one of the best ever. I mean, when you talk about the 3 eyes, which he always used to talk about, one of them was intensity, and he just can't bring it like he used to. It seems like he's just going through the motions, and he's just trying to save his stamina for that one last big move at the end of the match. And it's unfortunate because you look at a guy who's not necessarily that old in comparison to some of the other guys that are still active or were active, like Ric Flair or even Triple H is going to be wrestling. His age is definitely showing, and I think the miles in the wrestling industry have certainly caught up to him.
Can you see Baron Corbin getting attacked backstage and John Cena answer instead? I
want to say yes, but honestly, I think Corbin has been perfect in this role. Like, I get it. People don't want to see it, but
that's what a heel's supposed to do.
I know. He's supposed to get booed. This past week on Raw, his promo was exactly what you'd want him to do and say. He got booed. That's his job, to get a reaction.
I mean, here's the thing. This card has 16 matches on it. Now, granted, 3 are on the pre-show. So saying at 7 o'clock, we have 13 matches to get through. Mm-hmm. You have to get those in within 4.5, 5 hours. And you already have an Elias segment that's going to happen. You're going to have something with Alexa Bliss. So that's going to take up time. Some of these matches are going to be short. Mm-hmm. Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley, we already talked about, should be like a 2-minute squash. We have the over-under 3 minutes. This one here, if this goes more than 6 minutes, it's too long.
You think so?
It's got to go 6 minutes. And at the end of the day, it's going to be Angle wins, taps out Corbin, does his little whatever this thing is to you suck.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah, I think Angle wins too.
Angle wins, and I know everybody wants this, poetic ending, but it just doesn't happen every time. He wins. Let him just go out as a winner. Did Shawn Michaels retire as a winner? Well, not counting Crown Jewel. Did Shawn Michaels go out as a winner? No. Did Ric Flair go out as a winner? No.
Well, again.
Well, yes. We're not going to talk about the TNA stuff, but, people, the best way to go out is usually with your shoulders to the mat. So in this case, it's a rare occasion. Just let him win, and that's it. That's it. If John Cena comes out, he should win. Mm-hmm. So are you going to have John Cena come out just to beat Kurt Angle after you already have him win? I don't see it.
I got Kurt as well.
Some people actually believe that Corbin, to help him get more heat, can win this match.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Again, this is WWE. It seems like sometimes they go out of their way to almost
create heat.
Well, create heat. It's not organic heat. It's like, I want to fucking smash my TV heat.
Yeah.
Like what? I can't believe you do that. But I can't say a Baron Corbin win is outside of the realm of, reality or something that I wouldn't expect. But I think ultimately the right thing to do is give Kurt Angle his proper send-off and have him win.
All right. So we're both going with Angle. We both say this is the match. Cena's not going to be a part of it. Now let's move on to, we got the big three possibly on this card. So we'll start with the other possible retirement match. Triple H versus Batista. No holds barred. If Triple H loses, he must retire from in-ring competition. As, once you put that in-ring competition, it almost seems like Triple H is definitely going to win. And this is not the first time he's done this at WrestleMania. At MetLife Stadium, WrestleMania 29 against Brock Lesnar. If he lost that match, he was calling it a career.
Yep.
So, and he won that match against Lesnar. Here's the thing. XFL's coming. Vince backstage isn't necessarily going to be fully focused on WWE, and maybe he's going to put more responsibility to Triple H backstage. Mm-hmm. What a great way to write him off by saying he's retiring from in-ring competition, and he's still there. He's never leaving, but have him focus on the backstage stuff.
Yeah, I mean, regardless at the end of the day, whether he wins or loses, I can't necessarily see him walking away from in-ring competition yet. Something just leads me to believe that it's just not his time. Granted, this is a big match. It's at WrestleMania. It's against a guy that they have some history with, but I don't see that happening just yet.
Right. I could see Triple H losing and then come back, kind of like Macho Man,
right,
after WrestleMania 7. Although I don't think that was the plan to have him come back, but due to the Ultimate Warrior, they brought him back anyway. But it's like, how many times are these guys going to retire just to come back a few months later? So, I mean, I have so many baby faces in their stories winning. I got to have a heel lose or a heel win. And with that, I'm taking Batista.
Okay.
With the upset over Triple H.
I'm going to say, I think Triple H wins this here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think a lot of people are going to take Triple H, but I'm going to be the going the underdog route there, and I'm betting Batista there. Let's move on now to the Universal Championship. The Royal Rumble winner, Seth Rollins, challenging Brock Lesnar. We heard some news today that there is going to be a UFC match between Lesnar and Cormier. And if the rumors are true, it's in August. So he's going to have to leave to start training. But there's also the rumors that he is going to be, he's going to be at the Saudi Arabia show in May. Do you have him hold the title until May and drop it there? Or do you have him drop it at WrestleMania? Seth Rollins gets his moment, and then he becomes a Universal Champion.
So I think with this match, like I've been saying all along, of the big three, whether it's the Becky Lynch match, whether it's the Kofi match, or whether it's this match, Seth Rollins can afford the loss the most of them. I think this is going to be the match where people get disappointed because I think, like I've been saying all along, I can't see them delivering on all three of those.
Right.
I just can't see it happening. So I think at the end of the day, given that Brock Lesnar supposedly has re-signed, he is going to win this match here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say what I said back around the Royal Rumble time, and that is that Brock Lesnar could potentially carry the Universal Championship into the UFC.
I see. I can't see that happening if he doesn't. if Seth Rollins doesn't win, I can see him dropping the belt somewhere like maybe, I don't know, let's say maybe, when's SummerSlam? Is SummerSlam in September?
August.
So he could potentially carry the belt until then, drop the belt to maybe Roman. I don't know. That's the thing. Like, if it's not Seth Rollins now, who is it going to be down the line? But there is
Roman,
also
McIntyre.
there's also the rumor that once they go to Fox, that Fox wants Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. So does he take the title to SmackDown?
Then what do you do with the WWE Championship? Move it to Raw?
Move it to Raw.
And let's assume that Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, the winner of that. Would you, I mean, I guess you could put either one on Raw. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm going with Seth. It's going to be here's the problem with this though. Here's the problem is that if Seth wins, he's basically going to be set up as a transitional champion. He's not going to have to Roman, to McIntyre, whoever. He's not going to have a long reign with this. Maybe he carries it into SummerSlam, which I guess that's somewhat of a long title reign, but I would never think he's going past SummerSlam with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm going to go with Rollins.
I'm taking Brock. I've said all along Brock's going to win.
All right.
So there was a match here that I realized I didn't put on the card, and now that I brought it up already, it will be Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Kofi Mania is running wild, and it has to keep going here. I don't see why it wouldn't. They have to follow through with this. Yeah. I think this right now, this is the hottest program on either of the brands right now. The two wrestlers involved in it have put in the most believable, most consistent work. Daniel Bryan, to me, has been the most solid heel throughout, Raw or SmackDown over the past, 3-4 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kofi Mania right now is the hottest thing going into WrestleMania. He had a really good promo. He said exactly what he needed to say to get the people behind him and invested in him going into the match. I don't see how you can deny Kofi a win here, even if it ends up only being for a month or until the next pay-per-view.
You have to follow through with Kofi Mania, but there's the possibility of Big E and Xavier Woods turning on Kofi Kingston and costing Daniel Bryan or costing Kofi the championship. If Kofi wins, like you said, the reign's not going to be too long.
Yeah.
Who does he continue this with? You have, I guess you could do, if the heel turn with Big E, something with Kevin Owens, a rematch with Daniel Bryan.
Well, Sami Zayn's supposed to come back. I don't know if they'd put him right in the title picture though. That's the thing.
Sami Zayn, no. Kevin Owens is already in the title picture because
he's been there before.
He's been there before. So, and who knows? Maybe Sami Zayn goes to Raw and Kevin Owens stays on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Kofi Kingston winning.
Yep.
Kofi Kingston winning. All right. So now that we got that all covered, it's now time for the main event. And guys, you're doing great with the live chats here. Keep them coming with your predictions. And if you're watching us after the live recording, let us know in the comments with your predictions of who will win at WrestleMania 35. And also let us know if you're going to be there too, because we're going to be there as well. We'd like to meet some of you guys that watch and subscribe to our videos here. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications as we're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. Who wins?
As much as I want to see Becky win, I think Charlotte's going to win.
Charlotte's going to win?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Why?
Not because I want her to win. I want Becky to win. But I just have that weird feeling that WWE is going to pull one of those pull those things out of their hat where it's like we know the fans want this, but we know what's best for business, so we're going to give you this.
But the main event of WrestleMania?
We saw it before. We saw The Miz beat John Cena, obviously with the help of The Rock, when The Miz was not popular at all.
Right, but that was more to set up Cena Rock than it was to catapult The Miz in his status. That story was for the whole match it was really Rock versus Cena. The Miz just happened to be the champion at that time. That's the only reason he was involved in that match.
Well, I'll say this. I want Becky to win, and I think she deserves the moment because she's been the hottest of the three, I guess you could argue. Charlotte's probably been the most consistent since her main roster run in comparison to Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And Ronda, for what she's done while she's there, it's been great. I don't see Ronda winning. I think Charlotte will win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Becky won too.
Right.
So I'm caught in between those two, but my gut feeling is Charlotte.
Charlotte. Do you see any possibility that Ronda wins?
Never say never. I don't think so.
I mean, it's the main event. You definitely have to put the title on Becky. You have to.
So
you have to have the fans go home happy. No matter what you guys do between the first match and the match before this, you have to send the fans happy.
So you picked the big three. You said Kofi Mania, right?
Yep.
You said Becky.
Yep. And Seth. I said all three.
And you trust WWE delivering on all fronts with those. Because I don't. That's why I can't.
There's going to be 70,000 plus people in that stadium that want to see all three, think all three will happen. If all three of those don't happen, it's not like, oh, well, we could create heat with the guy that won instead and people are going to watch anyway. There's this little t-shirt company out of Jacksonville, Florida that is getting more and more names here that are drawing some attention. Most recently, Jim Ross. So it's not like before where they can get away with this stuff.
Yeah, they'll be held accountable if they piss off fans enough. Yep. Surely they'll go.
And not only that, during this weekend we have the G1 Supercard, and now AAA and Impact Wrestling are going to have a show at Madison Square Garden
with RVD.
Yep, with RVD. So, you gotta follow through at least with those big three. Do whatever you want with anybody else, and even Roman at this point. I think Roman even has to win. This is the year they have to push the reset button on everything with how they do things and let people know, hey, they said it. The fans are the authority now. They can't say that and then do it so that one of those three lose. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, the hottest story going right now, Kofi Kingston and Kofi Mania, or the biggest name that sold the first time a woman has topped the merchandise sales in Becky Lynch, or the person that has carried Monday Night Raw for the last 18 months in Seth Rollins. You have to follow through on all three. Have to.
I just don't trust them to do it. I've said that all along. I just can't see a situation. I can't trust a company who has become almost complacent with their booking and storytelling and lack of delivering with big moments. I don't know. I can't see them delivering on all three.
Joseph McBrayer just brought up a point. What if Ronda wins and goes on a Brock hiatus while taking the women's title hostage? If it's winner take all, if they do winner take all, then there's no women's championship.
Yeah.
No Raw women's championship, no SmackDown women's championship, and she disappears. It's not like Brock Lesnar where he shows up 3 months at a time. If Ronda's leaving, it's to have a kid. So that's 9 months to a year gone.
Yeah.
Well, more than 9 months because it takes 9 months to have the kid, but then maternity leave. So 12 months, a year with no women's champion. Not happening.
I don't think so.
The only way Ronda's winning this match is if you know for certain she is coming and staying with WWE, at least for some kind of short term. Same swerve as last year where, everyone thought Brock was leaving, but hey, Brock's staying.
Yep.
And he kept the title. Faraz Ghaffari, what about Shayna Baszler interfering with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke? I could see that happening.
I don't think they do something like that in such a high profiled match, in such a high profiled situation. Granted, this is, the first time women are ever going to main event WrestleMania. It's gotten a lot of media attention to have anybody, could be any woman, come out and interfere in the match and have it be where, there's any discrepancy. I hope they don't do that. I can't see them doing that.
So you're going with Charlotte. I'm going with Becky Lynch. So I think your heel count was at 5. Mine is at 2. Out of 16 matches. Well, I guess, is Colin Jost considered a heel?
I would consider him, he'd get booed, so I'd say he's a heel.
All right, so I have 3 heels winning. Samoa Joe, Colin Jost, and Batista. And then I have all baby faces winning. It's going to be a very feel-good WrestleMania, and I think people are going to enjoy that, and I think this could go down as one of the best WrestleManias ever. I know a lot of people are crapping on this card, and a lot of people are crapping on this WrestleMania. Oh, none of the matches look good. You're going to be surprised. This could be up there with 19 and 17, and not up there with 11 and 9. I hope it's not like 11 because I was at 11. I'm hoping I'm not bringing that same luck that I did at WrestleMania 11 to WrestleMania 35. But do a couple fun prop bets before we go. Shortest match.
Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley.
I agree. Longest match.
Longest match. Triple H and Batista.
I think that's a lock there. Triple H always has the longest match going into whatever card he's on.
I'll make 2 bold predictions.
Go ahead.
One bold prediction: the Brock Lesnar match will last less than 5 minutes.
Disagree.
Brock Lesnar winning.
12 minutes.
I say less than 5, and I say Brock wins. My other one, and this is my big, bold prediction, I say Becky Lynch is the last entrant coming out, and she comes out with Conor McGregor. Because it's been teased.
Especially with everything that's going on with him, with the allegations of...
Yeah, but I get it, and that I thought this before all of that even came out, but as bad as it is for Conor, he always manages a way to get himself out of it. Like, it wasn't like, you look on Twitter or you look on the news, yes, it was covered, but it wasn't really like they were really ready to banish him.
Yeah.
So it was rumored all along that he was going to make some type of appearance at WrestleMania. That would be a likely situation where he comes out.
Yep. Well, we know Joan Jett is going to be performing Bad Reputation for Ronda Rousey. And some people have said maybe we have Nita Strauss perform Becky Lynch's entrance. So I could see that happening. She's done Shinsuke Nakamura's before. And she was there for Royal Rumble, I believe, doing something. So we could see that happening. Let's see. Over under. Well, we already did over under 3 minutes. Over under 6 minutes. Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin.
6 minutes. Over.
Do we see John Cena?
Yes.
In what capacity?
Maybe interrupting Elias.
If not Cena, who interrupts Elias?
I'd want to say The Rock, but maybe, I don't know, Jeff Jarrett.
Nope.
Somebody gimmicky.
Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, that would make sense too, given that he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. So,
Big E, Xavier Woods heel turn.
Not yet.
I say they're going to hold off and do it on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Undertaker showing up?
No.
No?
I don't see it.
Here's how Seth Rollins is winning.
Bring everything full circle again.
Lesnar dominates. Lights go out. Undertaker interferes. Seth Rollins wins.
Okay.
Because the one guy that Vince loves to protect is Brock Lesnar. So Rollins isn't beating him clean. He's got to do it somehow. It's either going to be that or this bold prediction. Heyman turns on Lesnar.
And joins Seth.
Yep.
I'd see that more than I see the Undertaker making an appearance.
Do we see a Hulk Hogan appearance?
Ooh, Hulk Hogan.
He is going to be inducting Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That was announced today.
If we see him, where would he make an appearance, though?
He could be the host, or no, Alexa Bliss is the host. He could be involved in something. Maybe he interferes or interrupts Elias.
Could be. We'll see. I'm gonna say no.
All right. Is there any other prop bets that you guys have up here on the live chat? Let us know. Trying to think of any other possibilities here. Do we see Lita and Trish Stratus inserted into the Women Tag Team Championship match? Because I started hearing those kind of rumbles. Yeah. And that was originally the plan back in around Evolution, that they were supposed to be put into this match. So
yeah, you get those types of rumors that always pop up around WrestleMania time.
Yep.
How many years did we hear that we were going to get Undertaker and Sting? Or that Shawn Michaels was going to come back and wrestle AJ Styles?
True.
You know, so I say no.
Kevin Owens WrestleMania appearance. He does not have a match. And I don't know if they would put him in the Battle Royal.
I think we see him in some form, in some type of capacity. I'm not sure where, but how could you not have him at least make an appearance of some sort?
It seems odd. Maybe he interrupts Alexa Bliss somehow, because now they're doing Moment of Bliss and now the KO show on SmackDown, which his exit on Tuesday was so fun. He just walks out, drops his mic. Oh, Wrestling and Heavy Metal Bro just came up with a good one here. DX interrupts Triple H versus Batista. I don't know if Billy Gunn would be involved with that, though.
No, definitely not. Now that he's...
But I could see Road Dogg and X-Pac and even Shawn Michaels somehow getting involved. Kind of like what happened at 31 with Sting, and it was DX, and then all of a sudden you have NWO. Maybe they have DX and Evolution. It's, bring that full circle because of Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. But then it depends on where Randy Orton had his match too. That wouldn't be everything. Kevin Owens cost Samoa Joe. I don't see that. Why? That was brought up by Joseph McBrayer. Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens cost Samoa Joe. I don't see that one. A dark horse to win either Battle Royal. Because it seems like the men, it's basically Braun Strowman, Colin Jost, or Michael Shea. I could see Andrade winning.
I could see that too, but he's another one of those guys, like, they brought him up and they're not really doing anything with him.
Right. Over under, and this is just the main card, over under 4.5 hours total runtime.
Over?
Yeah. How much over?
Oh, man. I'm going to say it's closer to 5.
So if it starts at 7, you're saying close to midnight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under.
I don't know. It's a lot of matches, and not even the matches, but the entrances.
See, here's the thing.
I'm sure Triple H is going to have some type of crazy entrance.
Yep. So there are going to be guys with crazy entrances, yes. But, Finn Balor, his entrance is going to be long, but that's going to be made up by a 2-minute squash.
We think,
or it should be. Let's see. We have Batista and Triple H is going to be the longest match, I think. I would say no more or no less than 23 minutes. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets closer to an hour or to a half hour. Shane and The Miz, I would say, is around 18 minutes. AJ Randy, 18 minutes. If Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio, they could just scrap that. So that's one less match we got to worry about. Roman McIntyre, I would say, seeing that it's Roman's first singles match in a while, I say that one goes 10 minutes. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston, 12 to 15.
I think that goes more like 20.
See, I think they want to save a lot of time for the triple threat and Triple H and Batista. People are saying it's going to be 8 hours. That's counting the pre-show. And even if that's the case, it starts at 5:30. That's the first match. So they're saying from 5:30, go 8 hours. So that's 1:30 in the morning. No, definitely not happening. Definitely not happening. So I don't know. Angle Corbin, I say 6 minutes. So there's going to be a lot of short matches. Like this is, to me, I think they're going to do this very much like WrestleMania 6. There's not going to be a lot of long matches. WrestleMania 6 had 2 in double digits, and they had 1 20 minutes long, and that was the main event. Everything else was single digit time. They went in, they went out, did their match, done. Freaking the Bolsheviks versus Bret Hart was like 18 seconds. So the problem is it's the entrances. Yeah. If they can condense the entrances, which a lot of these guys don't really need exuberant entrances, really.
Yeah, but it's WrestleMania, so you're probably going to get that for most of them. But
true, but really, who here? I mean, Triple H is going to have a big one. The Finn Balor, and I would assume all 3 women will have something. And Joan Jett's going to probably play the entire Bad Reputation in its entirety. So that's a 3.5 minute song, if that. I'm going under. Close to 4.5 hours, but it's going to be under. It's not going to be 8 hours. 5.5 is a little too long. No, under. And that's a bold prediction. Under 4.5 hours. Yeah. So if it starts at 7, this is the main card only. Starts at 7. We'll be on our way to our car around 11:30.
That'd be fine with me, but
how long was the Royal Rumble this year?
I don't know.
That one was long. That one was close to midnight, but that was also 2 Royal Rumble matches. And they even tried to condense the men's Royal Rumble because they were going over time. Yeah. But it all depends on how much time Triple H and Batista take, because once that happens, that's when the rest of the card might get rushed or lengthened or who knows. But quick question here, and then we'll end it here. We'll end it with this question. Do you guys see a surprise Cena versus Undertaker rematch? This coming from Fars Ghaffari. I say no.
I don't see it.
All right. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this live stream for WrestleMania 35 predictions. If you are going to be at WrestleMania 35, we hope to see you there. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, as we're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing. For Rob Valenti, my name is Michael Valenti. We hope to see you at some point WrestleMania weekend. We'll be at TakeOver. We'll be at WrestleMania. So